I think Bnei Noach are some of the most courageous people that I have ever met. I don't think Jewish people understand how much trauma that a person goes through when they leave the church. You abandon absolutely everything that you know to be true, to be anything at your core. Often they leave everybody that they love to embark on this journey. In the church, you're taught that if you reject Jesus, you're going to hell. It's not a nice, let's agree to disagree kind of friendship anymore. It's very hostile. I see conversion to Judaism as the easy road. People tend to focus on the lifestyle changes that are required and the restrictions of orthodoxy, but those often pale in comparison to the trauma that a Bnei Noach goes through and what they have to deal with. If you compare stories of people who leave a cult, I think it's very similar to what we've been through. They often struggle in how to function and how to deal with society outside of the bubble that they were raised in. I think recognizing the trauma that we've been through is an important step, realizing that there are aspects of our former life, our life in the church, that we were addicted to is important. If we can identify the roller coaster of emotions that we're going through as PTSD and as withdrawal symptoms to an addiction that we had, a personal relationship that was just ripped from us. I think if we realize that that's trauma and PTSD and connect those feelings with that we can understand the emotions we're going through and find healthy outlets and ways to fill that void as we go through this journey.
Wow. But the thought that came to my mind was, well, she went kind of from one bubble to another bubble. That was her choice, and she embraced it. But her dad is kind of like in no man's land, and he's got to figure it out. And in the one hand, that's wrong, but there's nothing there to replace it. And that really was my question. You kind of explained my question with your answer. It's the tastes of the holidays, it's the foods, it's the flavors, the smells, the like you said, if it's going to church, the camaraderie, and suddenly that's all gone. So what happened to Bnei Noach?
I hear so much pain in the voice of people who are going through this, and it's hard. When you imagine what a Christian has grown up in, from a baby, we're taught that there is no gauge of sin. There's no big sin versus a little sin. Committing murder is the same as stealing a cookie out of the cookie jar. And that sin is what was responsible for the beating and crucifixion of Jesus. Jesus died for you and because of you. The guilt that comes with that is horrific. And the fear of hell, that if I do something wrong, I'm going to go to hell. I'm going to have eternal damnation and eternity in fire. As a teenager, shown films about the tribulation. And if you deny Jesus under pressure, you're going to get the guillotine and you're going to miss the rapture if you're not right with God at the moment that he comes in the blink of an eye and everybody disappears and you're left behind. That's a tremendous amount of fear. And I think nowadays, I believe if people looked at it that way, it's a form of abuse. And it's definitely trauma that we've been through. But there are aspects that we felt were good. The sense of community. Everybody has a natural desire to belong to something, to feel part of something, to be accepted and loved unconditionally. And that was very fulfilling. And that was what we loved about the church. So when you come out of the church, those things that were good things you miss. You can be in a very bad, abusive relationship, but I'm sure that when you leave, that's often why battered women go back, is there is a sense of
familiarity,
comfort. Right. If you look at it as an addiction and say, I recognize that, and those are parts that I miss, and it's a void, you can fill it in healthy ways, which don't have to always be religious. My father joined a Jeep club, a whiskey club, a bridge club, a book club.
I like the whiskey club.
Right. There's all kinds. That's difficult coming from the church. That was a hurdle that had to be done. But there are all kinds of social connections that you can find because of where we come from, we feel that it needs to be religiously based, but those connections don't have to, come from religious environments.
So I just want to mirror kind of in a summary what I'm hearing for you, that there's a kind of two issues here. There's the trauma aspect, just like anybody would deal with any other trauma that they went through in life, because it's legitimate trauma. You said PTSD, I heard you say. But you said the other thing, the good part that's now missing, to have the void, to try to fill it. Would you suggest, I know you said you're not an authority, but to me, you're somebody, having the experiences you had, certainly your opinion, to me at least, plays a big role. Would you suggest in any way that there should maybe perhaps be, again, with the proper guidance by those who do know, who are authorities, to kind of create some kind of Bnei Noach movement in which there is an answer to those voids?
I do believe in a big way that Bnei Noach should attach themselves somehow to Torah learning, to the Jewish community. I know it's different than joining the Jewish nation, but they are following the Jewish religion. And thank God there's so many resources out there for learning Torah and for Bnei Noach. I'm involved in a lot of them. We have a lot of social things that we can do. It's not that in-person religious connection that we're used to, but I think there are so many great rabbis to learn from. Chabad is a great resource. I know Aish, there are plenty of outreaches that have online learning from amazing rabbis. What's available today is unbelievable.
Wow. So what's your message for the Bnei Noach? What would be your words of encouragement? Because like you said, it's very difficult. It's harder, like you said, to be a Ben Noach than it is to fully convert to Judaism in a sense. So what would be your message?
I know it's hard, but in many ways they are like Avraham Avinu. They've been asked to leave their family, leave their land, and leave everything they know to pursue one God and this life of living Torah, and don't stop learning and connecting to God. You have a genuine personal relationship with God now like you've never had before. There is no intercessor. There's nothing between you and God now.